Good morning everyone and welcome back to another episode of Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. So today, an exciting day. We just received our parcel all the way from Thailand from JavaSimulator. And I will say it's come very well packaged. I've not had a look at anything yet, so we'll have a look through it together. This is just first part's just going to be a bit of an unboxing, then we'll get it all mounted up on the Visa mounts, and then we'll show you it all in action with the software. So, for those of you who don't know, JavaSimulator is a company based in Thailand. They make quite a few different components for the Airbus A320, including like radio panels as well. This is the first product we've ordered from them. If I'm honest, it's took a long while. We ordered this, I think, the start of October. There's been a few delays with it. It was a pre-order, initially with a 10-week sort of deadline. However, it took a little bit longer. There was a couple of issues with the product, so they didn't send it, obviously. And then there's a few issues with the shipping. However, once it is actually shipped, it's come literally within 7 days, which is really good. And I didn't even pay for the most expensive option either. So, guys, on top here, we have got a power cable. Obviously, it is a European power cable. We shouldn't need this because we are using a USB hub. So it shouldn't be an issue at all. Then you get two USB cables. I'm not sure yet whether, so we've got a C2C cable here, and then we've got an A to C cable on this side. Feel good quality in fairness, all with 90-degree angles on them. If I'm honest, I'm not sure, well, I'm not 100% sure if you need both in at the same time. So I run a powered USB hub, so it might be we need one for power and one for data. We'll have a look at that as we go through. That's my sort of understanding. But you get to select what type of USB cable you want, whether you want A to C or C to C. You can order that when you do your selection for the specifications. So obviously there's a bit of a foam insert over the top. So if we lift that off gently, here is the actual Airbus panel itself. Obviously I've not tested it yet. This is the first time just taking it out of the box. It comes with all the normal switches. We've got our two extra buttons that we've ordered here. So we've gone for a LEC pump and the aft isolation valve. Don't slate me. A lot of people said, why have you not gone for dual cooling for when the Neo comes out? If I'm honest, I didn't really have much knowledge about dual cooling until afterwards. So, but we can always configure it how we want to anyway. Overall, I've had a quick feel of the buttons. They all feel fairly nice. The rotary knobs are really nice. They've got a nice bit of tension to them, which is always nice. We've got all the pack flow, that feels nice. And also these ones also have quite a nice amount of tension to them. Moving up on the left side, we've got obviously the cool buttons, which you can press. And they feel pretty good, to be fair. Good switches. Obviously they've got all the annunciators, which we'll show you shortly. Cockpit, voice recorder test buttons, the ground control buttons. You've got the ELAC, secondary and flight control switches here. We've also got the LEDs in the top, which most of you know. You get to choose with these whether you want an amber light or whether you want a cool white. So I've gone with the cool white right over the amber. It was just an option that I personally preferred. I think it looks a little bit neater. I have seen it in the amber and it does look quite nice, in fairness, from other options. Obviously moving across here, we've got the fire panel as well. We've got the test buttons here. The only thing I will say that I've noticed, there is a little bit of a quality issue with our APU fire button. I don't know if you can see, so when we press it, it does stay in the right position. They just feel a little bit wobbly. That's the only thing that I would say that I've commented on so far. Then we've got all our fuel pump switches here, which obviously has to be expected. Then we've got our batteries with the LCDs as well, which is a lovely little touch there. External power and APU generation on the electric side. There's nothing for the hydraulics, which is the reason why we've gone with the extra LEC pump option for when we're doing our single engine taxis. We've got all the anti-ice selectors and the ground proximity to warm system, which normally is situated over this side of the panel, is over this side. Then we've got all our cabin panel here, so we've got our emergency exit lights arms, and it's a three-way switch that you lift up and down. And it feels quite good. A lot of the switches feel of good quality, feel nice and tight. The only thing I will comment on though, And like I said, I'm not affiliated with JavaSim at all. I did explain that we'll be doing a video for the product. It would be nice if these were fixed. That's the only thing I would say, because obviously they've been 3D printed by the look of it, and obviously they sit on top of these switches. And don't get me wrong, they have a really nice feature, but I just feel like if they were stayed in one place, that would be a lot nicer. So we may look at a solution for that. I know the Rosefire has a very similar sort of feel, but this panel overall feels a lot better, looks a lot better quality as well. We've got obviously all the landing light switches as well, which is nice touch. So yeah, overall it looks really good. So let's try and pop this now out of its packaging, and we'll try and have a look at the bottom of it, so you can see the sort of depth to it. So this is the depth to it. It's not a huge panel in actual fact. I thought it'd be a little bit bigger on the back. You see we've got a couple of extra ribbon cables there. Not sure exactly what that's all about, but I'm sure it's probably related to the LCDs and the LEDs, I guess, would be my guess. Just to point out, the APU available switch, mine has the amber colouring in it. So if you order this panel, you will get the green colouring in. It was just an LED error when they installed the LEDs. They offered me to have it sent back and get a replacement, which was really, really good. However, I think because of the amount of time I waited for one LED, it didn't really seem worthwhile, to be honest. So yeah, that is pretty much the panel. Let's just turn it around so you can have a look. So we've got a VESA mounting options, 100 by 100. So you get to choose what VESA mounting options you want. I think it was a 50 by 50 or 100 by 100 you get the selection of. And by the look of things, we've got a data option here and we've got a power option. So chances are we're going to need to use both inputs, which is kind of what we expected in a way. We'll have a quick look, see what the power requirements are. Let's have a look. USB 3 or above. If connect data port to, so if it's a USB 3 or above, which I don't think mine are, I'll have to have a look, then power is not required. However, if power is required, you have a push and pull button there for that to work. So if you're using one USB, you press it once. If you've got two, you press it twice. But yeah, overall it looks really good and it feels good quality, if I'm honest. Feels really, really good quality. So what we'll do now is we'll get it plugged in just to make sure it all works, and we'll go from there.
Guys, that is
so guys, we'll see you again shortly for the next part of this video.
I'll just take you through the backlighting while we've got it all set up. But the backlighting looks absolutely incredible. There's hardly any bleed at all. There's a little bit of bleed between a couple of the main bits of the panel, but it's not anything noticeable, and you can't see it straight through the system. Actually, we're just showing you sort of around the panel in a little bit more detail, a bit of a close-up as well. But yeah, overall it looks really, really good. Obviously you've got the options of adjusting the integral lighting, the integrated light, sorry, and the overall cabin lights as well. Obviously you'll see a lot of this within the streams that we do as well. So you'll see this utilised on a regular basis going forward. So we actually needed to utilise just one USB port. I do have USB 3 on my motherboard. I wouldn't recommend plugging it into a powered USB hub. I seem to have some issues when I plugged it into the powered USB hub and it didn't work. So we've just gone with the normal USB hub on the motherboard and it works absolutely perfectly. So let's go on to the installation. Good morning everyone, I hope you're all well and ready for the new year. So today we are looking at how we install the software for the JavaSimulator overhead, particularly in the large option. So it's really straightforward, if I'm honest. What you need to do first is you need to head over to the JavaSimulator website, hit on the download option, and then you'll be presented with three boxes. So on this left hand side you can see we've got Microsoft flights in 2020 and 2024. Here's the firmware section, and then over the right on explain. So first thing what you want to do is just click on this box and you want to download the latest software interface. It's up to you if you go with a beta or the 4.3.7. I personally went with the beta option and it works absolutely perfectly. So download that, install that, as you would do any other program. And then if we head over to the firmware option as well, one thing you may need to do is update the firmware for the overhead panel. But when you download the package, there's a README file there. I'd recommend reading it before you go. It's really straightforward. It takes less than 30 seconds to do, really. Really straightforward. I needed to do it just to get everything working, because my overhead obviously was shipped before this release date. So we got that all up to date and there was no issues with that whatsoever. So once you have installed that, you'll see you have an application called JS Connect version 4.41 in or the version number what you're using. Initially, you may find that you don't have, you may have red icons all the way down here. What I'd recommend doing is look at the README instructions. Really straightforward. You need to make sure you've got FSUIPC 7 installed. Once that's installed, the sim and everything will talk perfectly. On the first time of launching this setup, what you will notice is there will be an option. It will say that the communication port has not been set. So basically what that means is once you've plugged the USB into a new port, you basically need to re-enable it into a different port, so it recognizes which port's being used. Once you've done that the first time, it works a treat with no major issues there. Then hopefully once you load into sim, as you see we're just sat on the ground here at East Midlands, it should all go green and everything should work and it should say connected. On the first a couple of occasions you may notice it won't launch with the sim, and I'll show you in a minute how we get around that. It's really straightforward. And if you want to look at the settings for the overhead as well, if you just click on this option here, it will bring out a new display. So this has all the input and output commands, really straightforward really. It tells you all the firmware updates and everything. The only thing that I'm not quite established how it all works is with the LVARs, if I'm honest. I've only literally had this morning just to look through it, and I've tried taking them from MobiFly, though I do feel they may be a little bit different. So we're going to have a look at that in a little bit more detail over the next few days. Obviously, if you guys have got any suggestions of why the LVARs aren't working at the minute. The buttons work. You can recognise all the new button presses for each. It's just how it is really, but it recognises everything. It all works absolutely fine. And like I say, you won't need to do anything. The only thing you may need to do on the first time that you set it up, it will come up with a different window to this. Basically what it will say, it will give you an option. I was trying to find it. It gives you like a big list, and it has every single different option here for basically every product that JavaSimulator do. And you'll just need to, in the overhead option, you'll just need to enable it with the correct comp port, like I've said. It's really straightforward. Once that's installed, that's all done. You don't need to touch it. You'll see in a second when we show you it working within sim. Next thing I'm going to quickly show you is just how we get it to auto run with FSUIPC. So it is really straightforward. I'm just going to bring this window across. You want to head to your local C drive. As you'll see, it's installed FSUIPC 7 there. Double click on that, and then you will notice there is loads of files here, and you'll think, oh my lord, where do I start? So what you're looking for is this file here, the configuration setting file. So in the type option, configuration settings, FSUIPC 7 is what you're looking for. If you right click on this and you open it in Notepad, so open this in Notepad, you will then be presented with this. Let me just make this a little bit larger for you, which is basically all the console pieces. You'll notice in the README instructions with the JavaSimulator provide, they give you a automatic run code, and that is this code here where it says programs. So basically what this does, once FSUIPC 7 starts, it will then run through this config, and it will notice that it wants to start the JS Connect. So basically once you're in sim, it will actually fully start itself without you having to touch it, which is really good. So you don't have to worry about it, and then you'll be presented how we're presented at the moment. So let's jump to the more exciting part, and let's have a look at this working in sim and testing. I'm going to try and just bear with me a second. I'm just trying to get it so we can jump on the overhead. There we go. So this is obviously the overhead panel. As you can see, this is the one that we have. It's about 70% of the actual real size of the panel. So it's not a complete size. So it's probably equivalent to the middle section of the panel. As you can see up here, we've got the avail light that's showing up on the top here, which you can see on the screen. So first thing I want to do is pop the batteries on, obviously. So if we press that, give it a few seconds, and the same with this one. There's not much latency at all between it either. Works really, really quick. And then obviously we can connect the external power, which will get the entire system up and running. Overall, obviously, if you want to have your integrated lighting on, integrated lighting is really good. There's not a lot of bleed through it either. There's a little bit of bleed between the panels, between each of the sections of panel, but other than that, there's no light bleeding at all. It's been backlit really, really well. Obviously, if you want your integrated lights that are up here, you have this extra option, the cabin light button, but they're really bright, and obviously you can adjust that as you wish. So you can get that in two colours when you order it. You can get a amber and a cool white. Both work as well as each other. All the fire buttons work as well. You'll see in a second they will light up. Pretty much everything works as it should do. Obviously I've not configured these two buttons yet. We've gone with the elect pump and the aft isolation valve as well. Just because they're a couple of the main things that we tend to touch. In hindsight, I wish probably I'd changed the aft isolation valve for dual cooling for when the Neo comes out. If I'm honest, I didn't have a great deal of recollection with the Neo. Obviously, you can put it in a test mode as well, and that will show everything as it should do. So yeah, guys, what am I really happy with it,
to be fair,
so far? JavaSimulator,
really good.
Large overhead panel. So my thoughts initially are very, very good. The quality and attention to detail is absolutely pristine. The backlighting is incredible. The buttons all feel really good and really new, obviously. Good enunciators as well. Obviously, we've got the two customized switches, which we've not quite worked out how to configure yet. But that is a me problem, not a JavaSimulator problem. However, I am going to reach out to them, and I'm sure they'll be able to support me in the best way they can. Like I say, we're not affiliated at all with JavaSimulator. A couple of considerations when you're purchasing this product is, one, there is a little bit of a lead time with them, but I think for the overall quality, what you get when you consider it to other makes like Skolaki Simulations, they do very good products. Obviously, they're more for the commercial market, and they are a little bit more pricey than JavaSimulator, and the quality versus their Rosefire is a hell of a lot better, I would say, in my opinion. And their slightly bigger size panel, I think, adds to the immersion as well, with everything working as it should do so far. But barring the ground control unit, which we're going to have a quick chat with them about that, but I'm sure that the switch works because I've tested it. It's just obviously a configuration issue, which will get sorted. Obviously, another consideration is the shipping. So shipping is around £30 UK for the medium option. I think DHL was about £70 UK it works out at. And then with your customs and import duty, so the total for me was £114 I had to pay. So not a huge amount. Well, it is a huge amount, but it's one of them things. You're not paid tax over in Thailand, so you're going to pay for it in the UK. Obviously, depending on what country you're ordering it from, depends on how it all proceeds. But overall, really, really happy with the product. I think it is very, very good for its price. Obviously, there are a couple of things that I've mentioned which I wish would be a little bit better around the fire buttons. I feel like they could be a slightly better quality, and also the switch covers. I feel like they'd be nicer if they were in a fixed position. That's just my thoughts. Obviously, some people may have different views of that, but either way, they work really, really well. And I'm looking forward to doing some streams with it. So the first stream is going to be tonight. We're going to be doing a Gatwick to Edinburgh special in our Airbus A319 from British Airways. So guys, if you've got any questions, feel free to reach out to us, and we will try and answer them the best we can. Like I say, I'm no major expert with all simulator things, but we'll try and help you out. Obviously, if you've got any related questions to the panel, you can ask me. I'll try and answer it. If not, I'd probably reach out to JavaSimulator and the team. They're really good at communicating. They take a couple of days to get back to you sometimes, but obviously that's because there's a big time difference, and they are very, very busy with lots of orders for this panel. So if you want to make an order, you can order it online on their website. obviously reach out to them. You won't get to choose your options straight away. That will come in a little bit of time, but you'll get to choose, like I've said in the video, you get to choose your LED colour for the lighting, and obviously your 2 options for the buttons and the engraving, which, as far as I'm aware, no other company do that, so that is unique in itself. JavaSimulator also have other products as well, such as radio panels. I think they do an MCDU as well. Do quite a few array of panels for the A320, so check their website out, and hopefully we'll see you all again very soon, and Happy New Year to you all.